Hey, what's going on, guys? Welcome back to another edition of Lisa Renee TV. So, if you've not yet subscribed to the channel, go ahead today, subscribe tonight before you leave. Make sure to thumbs up the video and to share on all the social media networks that you happen to be on. All right, guys. Good evening and welcome back. To any new guests I may have, welcome. I hope you get something out of it and you leave here feeling refreshed, invigorated, and inspired. All right, so let's get into tonight's video. So this came from a thought that I had earlier this afternoon. So, convenient Christians. So I self-gratify half the time, and then I'm all for Christ a few moments later. Okay, so why some Christians have issues with premarital sex? Is it age-based? Okay, so some 50-plus folks, so people who are like 50 and up, feel that premarital coitus is fine for them based on their need and concern for sexual compatibility. And a lot of folks worry so much about sexual compatibility anyway, no matter how old they are. You know, I'm 28, so a person could be 20 something. They could be, a little bit younger than me. It could be 50 plus. They be 30 something. Doesn't really matter. But we all kind of worry about sexual compatibility anyway, right? But to me personally, it's sort of like saying to God, "Hey, I don't really trust you to know crap about what I want or need in this area of relationships. So I'll test drive on my own. Hand me the keys, please. Thank you. Have a good day." You know, that's just me. I feel like that's what we're saying to him when you decide in your heart and mind that you're going to, go ahead and have sex with the person you're dating currently or courting currently ahead of, marriage. You're saying that I don't really I trust you, Lord, but not that much, not with the sexual thing. I'll handle it on my own, thank you. I don't need you to do that for me. Why don't you hand me those keys and let me drive? And he's like, okay, like, how insulting, So, the reason why I got this particular topic was actually from a Steve Harvey show today. I was watching Steve Harvey. I don't know if you guys watch Steve Harvey, but I really enjoy him on TV. I enjoy his comedy and everything too, but I love watching his show, his daytime talk show that comes on NBC5 at 2 p.m. Central Standard Time. If you guys want to check it out, you've never checked it out before. Okay, so I was watching it earlier, and he had this woman and a daughter. It was a mother and a daughter on the show today, and he does if you watch the show, he does a lot of things concerning love, relationships, because based on his two books, Act Like a Lady, Think Like a Man, yeah, the two books he had out, and of course, that's kind of his new little arena that he is in now. So I think it's cool. So he gives a lot of relationship advice to women. Women always are coming to him with this relationship advice. So, with the relationship questions, I'm sorry, he's giving out the advice. So he had a mother and a daughter come on the show, and they were complaining what they couldn't find, dates. They were ready to date, and it had been a few years since they both had been out. Now, their only issues, they had 3 sons, who were like really overprotective of them and protective, and I thought it was cool to have that protection over you like that, but they felt like the sons was kind of blocking the men that came by the house and everything to date them. And Steve was like, first of all, I just want to, he was like, my man, I just want to give y'all credit, give y'all props for that, because he's protective of his daughters as well, and his wife. So he was like, he giving them credit, like, what y'all doing is right, actually, and letting them know that what they're doing is, you all the queens of their lives, which is what the young men stated. They were very mature, too, young men. So it was nice to see young men, stand up and say, we're going to be men, we're going to protect our mother and our sister. We're not going to let this any old Joe Blow come from his house and then he going to take them out and dog them out and whatever, do the things that a lot of men do to women nowadays, right? And he's like, we're not going to stand back and have all 3 of us in his house and watch that happen to them too. So that was their goal for being so kind of, a little more aggressive when it comes to interviewing these guys that come to the house to, date mom and sister. So Steve brought out a couple of guys to potentially date his mother and sister on the show today. Steve interviewed them and he let the boys interview them. So, they passed the test. You know, a couple of guys, you know, were picked. One guy was picked for, I think a guy was picked for the sister. I had one upstairs doing that period of time. But anyway, I know the mama got a man, so I was like, that was so cool. Now, this is where it got interesting for me. I was looking at, and for the audience too, and for Steve. So one of the sons asked the 50-year-old man, this is for the mother. He was like, so what's your views on sex before marriage? And the whole crowd was like, woo! You know, everybody was like, oh my God. And Steve was like, oh my God. He was like, oh goodness, you know, because it's getting real. It got real. And the guy was like, well, you know, that's something that I tell my kids, my own kids who are younger and growing up. But for me, you know, personally, I'm grown, I'm in my 50s. I'm going to, you know, need to check for, you know, sexual compatibility, you know. So yeah, basically he's saying he's into the premarital sex. The other guy said the same thing. He was saying, you know, yeah, I'm with him. You know, yes, I would tell my kids that I coach and everything that they need to wait before marriage, wait for marriage before having sex. But for me personally, I'm in my 50s, you know, now. So, you know, I do believe in, you know, premarital sex. And I'm just being honest and, you know, and yeah. And then Steve was like, they want to kill y'all right now. Because the boys looking like, well, you know, they was a little outdone, but they, you know, they couldn't help but respect the men for being honest with them, you know. So anyway, the guys did choose, you know, a nice guy for their mom. But my thing was, I was like, really? So for me, when the guy was like, oh, I need to, you know, we need to be sexually compatible, I was like, So the first thing I would ask him was like, are you a good Christian man? Because, you know, are you a Christian man? Because it's like, if he is, I'm not saying he isn't, I'm assuming the guy is, but they didn't really get to a whole lot of that, you know, but it's like, if he is, he wouldn't really be saying that to me personally. I feel like he would trust that God would, you know, provide him with a wife that's going to be able to, you know, be this beautiful woman and this, you know, Proverbs 31 type woman, this good woman who has purpose, who knows who she is, confident, and who also can satisfy him in the bedroom. And, you know, hands down, he wouldn't have to worry because he would trust God with every capacity and faculty and whatever aspect of relationship, and he wouldn't have to be concerned with, I need to test drive. And so that's the thing where we get caught up because we feel like, you know, God really has no, you know, regulation in that area. We feel like God can't do it. He doesn't have the ability. Like, God can supply me a beautiful woman. She can be beautiful. He can give me somebody beautiful. He can give me somebody smart. He can give me somebody Christian. But when it comes to putting it down in the bedroom, I just think the buck stops there with him. Why do we feel that way about God? It's like we don't say that about him out loud, but you're saying that with your actions. Your actions are saying otherwise, which we don't really want to acknowledge or realize it because it sounds ugly. Because it is ugly. You know, what you're saying is, I would rather, you know, go ahead and do this my own kind of way. I would rather let my flesh lead me in this decision than my spirit, because I just don't have enough faith. It's like, why are you doubting? It takes me back to the story in the Bible when they were on the ship, and you know, Jesus had fell asleep, and you know, it was a bad storm out, and the winds were just whipping and, you know, knocking the ship back and forth, and they got scared, like, Master, wake up, we're gonna die. And you know, he told the wind to be quiet, and it did. And he looked at them like they were crazy, like, why did you doubt? What are y'all so worried about? Do you know who's on this boat with you? And they realized who was on that boat with them. So it's the same situation. When you realize who is in control, you don't need to take control all the time. You realize, I can sit my butt down and just relax. I can ride this thing out. I don't necessarily have to ask God, can you step over? Can you move over in the other seat and sit in the passenger seat? Can you give me the keys? Because I'll drive for this portion of the ride. You don't have to worry about this. I'll do it. And he's like, what do you ask me for the keys? Well, I got this. No, I don't really trust that you have it completely in that area. You know, like, I just need to test her. I need to make sure she can, you know, satisfy me and everything. Well, I need to make sure he can satisfy me. You know how that is, Lord. You know, so why don't you just let me try it out? Why don't you just trust me that I got you, that I know what you need, and, you know, in the bedroom, that I know how you are, who you are, I created you. So I'm going to give you somebody who can satisfy you so that you don't feel like you need to go outside your marriage to get satisfaction, because that's perfection in God. You know, so anybody he sends you, there's a perfection. So when he sends you a God ordained mate, and you ain't out here just trying to find somebody on your own, he's going to, I mean, everything's going to be swell. Everything's going to be perfect. You know, and that not saying the person's not perfect. Of course, you're two imperfect people, you know, but you were created and brought together by a perfect God. And so everything is going to be fairy tale. So when it comes to your sex lives, I mean, you guys are going to be great. You know, even if at first, like on the first time you ever consummate the marriage, you know, oh, it was good, but it wasn't, you know, it may not be as good as it, you know, it may not be great, or fireworks, but fireworks come because you have to, like, learn each other. This is why in my reading and learning everything about this thing, you know, the first time, like, that you consummated marriage, it's because y'all never really went to that area, that, you know, part of y'all relationship together, you know, so, yeah, you know, it's almost like you virgins again is what it is, and some people may be virgins, you know, but in the case that you're not virgins, and y'all just been celibate, and y'all like, oh my God, you know, you're nervous, you know, it could be anything, if, you know, you have a consummation experience, and it's not that great at first, or something like that, you know, God forbid, but it's not the end of the world, because it's like, okay, that was like the first time y'all ever been together, so it would make sense why it's not going to be, it wouldn't fireworks at first, but they're coming. Just keep going, like, you're okay. You're going to be good. But, you know, from what I've heard and read, most couples don't have any problem, you know, in that area. Like, they're okay. Everything is usually beautiful. It's very, very beautiful. It's just a general, pure, sort of holy feeling to it, you know, because it's, you know, it's just beautiful. You all get to share this new experience together as a newly married couple, a Christ couple, a Christian couple. God brought you two together, and it's a celebration. It's just really so wonderful. And I feel like the way the world is set up today, it's like it puts, you know, sex should be the icing, not the cake. And so a lot of us walking around with, you know, icing, cans of icing and spoons, and we eat icing and we have no cake, and it's incomplete. You know, and the world keeps trying to make sex the cake, but sex is not the cake, it's the icing on the cake. So the world keeps telling you that, so you keep eating that, you know, and it's bullcrap. And we keep eating that. We keep eating that poison. And so when it comes to people who are Christian, who are trying to do the right thing, I think a lot of us stumble in that area. We all fall off of that area. We'll be so good. Everything right, everything good. And if we get to that point, we're like, so... you know, been a few months now. Should we test this thing out to make sure that, you know, everything good? Then, you know, you know, everything good in that area. You know, because I can't be with some woman who ain't satisfying me. I just can't do it. I can't be with a man, and I don't know if I like it, or if he's, you know, a certain size, and I like a certain size. Well, you know how we get, you know, let's be real. You know, I'm all about being real now, you know. Hey, you know, get the kids out of the room. You know, I mean, you know, this adult talk tonight, you know. But it's like, come on, you know, you shouldn't even be focused on it. Your courtship should be you focusing on, you know, being intimate as far as your emotional bond with each other, your spiritual bond, getting the communication right. If y'all can't communicate, sex won't matter anyway, because that's all y'all got is icing, no cake. Okay, you know, so you know, make sure. Make sure that you have your communication on point. Y'all should be getting y'all spiritual bond right. You know, make sure you reading the Bible together, going to church together, whatever it is you do, whatever you do. You know, yeah, emotionally you should be, you know, connecting and just, you know, sharing things about each other that, you know, you may need to know, and just really trying to connect, building a trust. If you can't trust him, there is no marriage. You can't trust her, there is no marriage. You know, so a marriage is built on trust. Trust is the big foundation of it. So, you know, it's part of the foundation. You know, so if your foundation is Christ in your courtship, it should be the same in your marriage, and you guys are gonna be great. You know, anyway, so, but just make sure you're building on these key things in your courtship. Don't waste your courtship away thinking about, you know, getting in somebody's pants, you know, the whole time. Yes, you tipped it, yes, because you're attracted to you, like, I really just want to wow, I wish we could, and it's like, and your courtship for that reason, because we're sexual beings, and Christ created you that way, to be that way, to have a sexual ministry within your marriage, and He wants you to have sex with each other, of course. That's why He made you the way you are. You have those feelings for a reason. It's not a mistake. It's not anything bad or naughty, but your courtship shouldn't be very long. So you shouldn't have a long, drawn out. You shouldn't be dating him for 5 years, without, because I mean, it's. You can't last. And trust me, like you're probably gonna fall into sexual sin at some point. So courtships are usually advised to be pretty short. Not too short where you rush into the altar just so you can, bump afterwards. But just, just somewhere in the middle. Like it doesn't need to be really, really lengthy. Like come on. What are you doing? But it just made me think. And so I said, now these guys were 50 plus. So I said, is the age based? Like, do people, I mean, say if you are a 50-year-old Christian man or woman, and you said, say if you were married before, and you say, well, look, I waited last time. I'm 50 years old now. I'm grown. Can you do it differently now that you're older and it's your second marriage? I don't know. I mean, I'm 28, so it's like it's hard for me to speak from a perspective of a 50-year-old woman because I'm a ways away from 50. So I'm like, I don't know. My mother's 55, and but it's like, I don't know. It's just strange. I'm like, I don't know. I wonder if the older you get, I know the older you get, your mind changes, your mindset changes. I can tell by the way my mom be talking. She's like, I'm 55. I'm this side of this. You start counting your accomplishments. Like every little decision you attach it to. Baby, I'm 55. I've been living this up and this. I've been doing this. But I notice that's how older women, older men typically think. So I don't know. They feel entitled. Because they feel like, well, damn it, I've been here for years. I put my time in. I've done this. I own several companies on whatever. If I'm going to have sex, I'm going to have sex. So I don't know if they're attaching that to that type of feeling. They feel entitled, to be able to be, intimate as far as sex is concerned before time or whatever time they want to have sex. If they're gonna have sex or you're gonna have sex, it's at whatever age you are, whether you're 50, 30, 20, whatever, 19, doesn't matter. It's a free will decision. I mean, even choosing celibacy, it starts off as free will because you're making this choice. So, I mean, I would advise against doing it before marriage, of course, but some people don't necessarily do it that way. So, and anyone who thinks like that usually is more worldly minded. It's like peeking under the wrapper of Christmas gifts before Christmas Day. So that was my little analogy, a little metaphor to wrap that up, So I just feel like people who, just be careful, women, if you are 50-some years old and you dating a guy and he's trying to pressure you, I wouldn't compromise. Cause I feel like, what if I was 50 right now? Would I compromise if I was dating a man and I thought he was a Christian man? He said, well, I didn't think we was going to wait. You want to wait? I don't think I'm just saying, like, would I compromise? Would I fall in line with his thinking? Like, we is 58. We like, because in the Bible there's no age on that though. I don't think Christ ever said like, wait to have sex before marriage, except if you're 50. Like I don't think he mentioned. Like I don't really think so. I mean. I don't know. I mean, no, he didn't. I know he didn't mention age for sure. So I don't think it would be a thing of. I think it's more so a person making a personal decision, saying I want to do this, based on whatever, So I don't know. It's strange, but anyway, let me leave you with just a little bit of biblical inspiration to in the evening. Okay, so this is taken from Romans 13. So Romans 13, 11 to 14 verse. Okay, the day is near. And do this, understanding the present time. The hour has already come for you to wake up from your slumber, because our salvation is nearer now than when we first believed. The night is nearly over, the day is almost here. So let us put aside the deeds of darkness and put on the armor of light. Let us behave decently as in the daytime, not in kerosene or drunkenness, not in sexual immorality and debauchery, not in dissension and jealousy. Rather, clothe yourselves with the Lord Jesus Christ, and do not think about how to gratify the desires of the flesh. So, that 14th verse, rather clothe yourselves with the Lord Jesus Christ and do not think about how to gratify the desires of the flesh. I really, really, really like that particular verse. So I think marinate on the whole thing, but really, really marinate on that. I just like that because it's like it doesn't even break down what particular sin you stumbling with, or your particular issue, or whatever you're trying to do to gratify your flesh. It's like I'm not going to even go into detail. I'm going to tell you some good advice in general. Just don't even think about trying to gratify the flesh at all. Okay, you just clothe yourself in Jesus Christ, and you're gonna be okay. It just tells you that. And what all it's doing is reminding you to keep your eyes on Him so that you don't really put your attention in other places. And you notice when you put your attention, on less other things that are distracting, you should be fine. And that's really how you get through celibacy too. If you are on a celibacy journey now, you find yourself struggling, that's really the only way that you, one of the only ways that you'll find yourself able to, withstand and get through it, the times that it'll be hard. So, all right. So that's it for tonight. Thank you guys for watching, listening, tuning in, and supporting. Make sure to subscribe if you haven't already. Thumbs up, and make sure to share. And I'll see you guys next week. All right. Have a blessed one. Bye.